What's up, guys? It's Jeff with A1 Athlete. Welcome back to the channel. So good to see you again. If you've not already, please subscribe to our channel. If you find this video helpful and informative, please like it and share it with a friend. As always, I appreciate you stopping by. All right, so real quick, we've got a nice, good, quick, informative video for you. I just completed my third sprint triathlon, which essentially is a triathlon for beginners. It's sort of a shorter version of, like an Olympic triathlon or an Ironman. Usually there's like a half a mile to a quarter mile swim, followed by a like 8 to 12 mile bike ride, and then followed by a 5K run. So like a 3.1 mile run. Pretty standard somewhere in there. Depending on the race and the location, it varies a little bit, but it generally falls within those. Okay, so there's a lot of questions when you're considering going into your first sprint triathlon. And one of the biggest that I had was about the bike. I mean, bikes can get so complicated and people spend a lot of money on bikes. I'm talking like $10,000, $20,000 on bikes. Even just like a beginner bike, if you go down to like REI or your local bike shop, can cost $1,000 to $2,000, $3,000. And I really wasn't sure that I wanted to spend that much money. I mean, that's, I've got kids, I've got a wife, I've got a, mortgage and, obligations and things like that. And it was a really tall order and a steep entrance price for me to pay that kind of money. And I'm not the type of person that's gonna go down to REI and buy a $3,000 bike and take advantage of their return policy. Use it for 6 months and take it back and get all my money back. People that do that, there's a special place in hell for you, just like the people that don't return their shopping carts at the parking lot of the grocery store. So what I did is, and actually I credit my wife for this, who's a very frugal and a wonderful, wonderful woman, helped me to find a pre-owned bike. This is my pre-owned bike. A lightly used bike, and when I say lightly used, I mean just beat to hell bike on OfferUp. Really, you don't need anything super special or expensive. I spent $90 on this bike, 90, just $10 less than $100, okay? On OfferUp. Granted, I did have to get it tuned up, and when I took it into the bike shop, the owner of the bike shop looked at me like I was crazy for thinking I was gonna ride this thing. I believe the term he actually used was, "You can't ride that bike." And I said, "Why not?" And he goes, "It's not safe." And I said, "That's why I'm here. I need you to make it safe for me." And he did. Mike down at Team Bike Shop here in Huntington Beach, solid dude. He does good work and he's relatively inexpensive. So I spent $90 on the bike. The key thing when picking a bike is, well, one, you're gonna need a bike with gears. So like a 10 speed, you're gonna need gears, okay? All right, because there are some hills depending on the track, but I mean, every sprint triathlon that I've done, there are some decent hills. It's nothing crazy, but you don't want to be riding a beach cruiser that doesn't have any gears. You're gonna want some gears, okay? This one has 14 gears, so that's cool. And yeah, I did, in getting this bike and riding it quite a bit, I learned how to use those gears, so it's very helpful. So make sure you get a bike with gears. All right, and then also you're gonna want a bike that is fits you. Okay, so you're gonna want to be able to put your leg over, and the seat kind of be right up in your girdle, if you will, or your taint, whatever you want to call it. For me, it was like, I think this is 54 centimeters. Got a little deal right here, and that's a good height for me. I'm 6 feet tall, so 54 centimeters is a good one for me. So I got fortunate in that my wife found this on OfferUp, and it was the correct size. It was funny, she found it, and she goes, "Honey, it's a Volano." But anyways, this Volano, this trusty steed, has taken me through 3 sprint triathlons, and it's worked great. So anyways, I bought it for $90 on OfferUp. You can find great stuff on OfferUp, Facebook Marketplace, things like that. Just make sure to take it for a spin when you go down and get it. I did end up having to get a tune-up. They didn't replace the chain, but they definitely lubed it up. They redid the gearing, and they had to redo one of the cables up here because it just wasn't working. And then I did replace both tires, but I replaced it at the 2 tires after completing the, so all in, I have $90 on the bike plus the 2 tires. I think that was like $115. So that's $200. And then the service with the gears and everything, I think it was like another 100 and something. So we're talking, say I'm all in on this bike, $350. And it's taken me through 3 sprint type triathlons. Granted, I after completing this last one last weekend, I am gonna upgrade now, so I'm gonna put this one up for sale. You know, it's time to upgrade to get faster and a little bit more competitive. But this thing has taken me, man, talk about bang for your buck. Okay, so what I recommend in picking a bike for a beginner triathlon, a sprint triathlon, is don't overthink it. You do not need to spend thousands of dollars. You don't need to use a firm and get a bunch of payments. You don't need to finance something. You don't need a car payment. Like just find something, you know, that fits you, that has gears, okay? And that'll work. And then if you complete a sprint triathlon or 2 or 3 and decide you want to take the next step and get something more competitive, then that's a great idea. But as far as, you know, the entry price being thousands and thousands of dollars, that's just ridiculous. You don't need to do that. The vibe at triathlons, that everyone that I've been to, super cool, great people. You know, nobody's rude if you're, you know, if you don't have the top of the line equipment. In fact, I've gotten quite a bit of compliments on the orange wheels. I don't understand why, but people do like the orange wheels. So I'm just saying, if you find something with color out there, people may like it. Anyways, the point I'm making is, in a beginner triathlon, a sprint triathlon, you don't need to go crazy. You don't need anything fancy. Do it for fun. I mean, seriously, riding a bike for 12 miles is not overly difficult, okay? But something with gears is very, very helpful. Something that fits you is very, very helpful. And something that is safe is very helpful as well. Definitely make sure you check the brakes. I highly recommend, if you buy something off of Facebook Marketplace or OfferUp, that you take it down to the bike shop. Make sure that everything is in working order before you take it out on the street. Make sure you're wearing a helmet. Amazon's got great ones. They're not overly expensive. I didn't get mine out for this, but Amazon, you can find them. Every sprint triathlon, every Ironman requires you to wear a helmet. So I suggest you get one of those as well. If you're not confident in finding an adequate bike on OfferUp or Facebook Marketplace or one of those things, just go down to your local bike shop. Okay, I really, really recommend that. You don't need to go to like a corporate bike shop, like a specialized bike shop, and you don't need to go to REI or anything fancy like that. Pretty much every neighborhood has a bike shop. Like, just type in your zip code into Google and say, you know, bike shop, you know, and I mean, it will come up, and you go in there and, you know, they're very helpful, usually like owner run and, you know, very hands-on, and you just go and say, hey man, I'm looking for a bike. I'm gonna do this sprint triathlon. I don't want to spend too much money. And they'll be very, very helpful. A lot of times they do consignments, you know, and things like that on bikes in there, and they'll actually go out and find you a bike. A guy at the local bike shop he's currently looking for a bike for me to upgrade this one. So anyways, I think that that's really all you need to know. Again, I remember being really sort of anxious about the bike and a couple of other things, which we'll do kind of like a whole series on, like the entry triathlon and the different question things. But I felt it necessary to start with the bike because that was kind of a big jumping off point for me as far as, you know, finding the bike and being comfortable with it and, you know, feeling that it was adequate. So anyways, that concludes our video. I hope you found it very helpful. If you have any questions, drop them in the comments below. Again, thank you very much for stopping by. I appreciate you. We'll see you.